Okay, class, it is visible. Okay, in the first block, in BCSL13, that is your operating system. So at first, the objective of this class is the familiarization of your with keyboard, memory, sub input output devices. We will learn about the von Neumann architecture of the computer. That is the basic fundamental computer architecture, in which we have different peripheral devices and input output devices which are connected with the computer systems. So in the first class of the lab, we will learn about some basics of our physical part, that is our hardware parts, and then how the operating system is installed, what is operating system, and how the Linux operating system is installed, working with both the operating system with Windows and Linux. That will be the goal of the first unit. So in the first unit, we will learn some basic of the computer system. So computer, that is a machine that takes input with the help of some input devices, that physical devices. That devices may be your keyboard, scanner, and process that data. And after processing, it is generated with the help of some output devices. Okay, so we will learn about these physical devices. What are the input devices? What are the output devices? Where the data is processed, that is also called your brain of the computer system, CPU. What is CPU? Why it is called the brain of the computer systems? These physical devices. Okay, so the objective of this class is to understand about the computer and its components. That is the architecture, general architecture of your digital computer system. And we can also say that the von Neumann architecture of digital computer system, and some features of our operating system such as Windows and Linux, and the installation procedure of both the operating systems. So the computer that play a key role in individual work in our daily life. We use a computer system in all the organization, either from the smallest organization and a very big organization. So we must be familiar with computers and components. So it is a programmable machine that receives input with the help of input devices, stores their data and processes their data in the central processing unit, and provides output with the help of some output devices such as printer, speaker. So when you are putting information into the computer, that is also known as your input. So we use different devices that are connected with the help of buses. These buses are called your system buses. And the input output devices are connected through input output ports. So we will see the basic architecture of the computer system. So this is your computer, working of the computer. When the post process is done, what is post process? Post process is your power on self testing. Power on self testing means when you switch on the computer system, at first the hardware part of the computer system checks itself such that all the parts are properly connected or not. If all the parts or the physical part that is properly connected, then the operating system that is loaded in the primary memory. Yes, someone want to say? Just Amajadi, what do you want to say? Is there any question?
Sir, I have two questions because our lecture is now about the computer components.
Yeah, yeah.
I have two questions in my mind, which I have with myself
Hmm.
about hard disk.
Hmm.
Can computer work without hard disk? Or my second question is about without hard disk, where we can store the data permanently. Is
Okay.
there any other device we can store the data permanently? Internal device,
Okay, okay.
I
I'm
mean.
going. Okay, okay. I'm going in the memory unit also. Okay. In,
Okay, sir. Okay.
okay. I'm going. I'm covering all these things. Okay. At first,
Okay,
see the
sir.
working of. At first, see the working. Actually, everything is covered in your lab part. From starting from your input device is to the installation procedure, your biosystems, everything is covered in your syllabus. Okay, so we will cover everything in the practical. Okay, in this lab. So don't worry about anything.
Okay.
So you can see the architecture, that is the working of computer system. In the left hand side, you can see the input devices, that is keyboard and mouse. Okay. Then in the processing unit, you can see the CPU. In the right hand side of the picture, you can see the output devices, that is monitor or printer. And on the other side, you can see the storage part, that is your hard disk and memory, flash memory. Okay. So initially, the input that is provided by the user with the help of these input devices, that can be keyboard or mouse, then that inputted data is processed in the CPU in the middle part, in the processing part. After processing, if then we generate an information or output that is shown either in monitor or that is given in the form of any print form. So this is the working of our computer system. So there are different components of the computer system. The first one is our motherboard. That is your motherboard. So motherboard, you can see also see the overview of our motherboard. Motherboard is the main circuit of board of the computer system. This board, this is the main circuit board of the computer. It contains this board, this motherboard. This contains our CPU, central processing unit, in which we have arithmetic and logical unit, control unit, and memory unit. Our BIOS part, basic input output systems. We have different ports here also, that is serial and parallel ports. Some expansion slots for hard disk, and different types of controllers that is required to control all the peripheral devices which are connected with the motherboard. These peripheral devices may be your monitor, your keyboard, your hard disk part, and all the chips that are on the motherboard, that is called your motherboard chipsets. That is motherboard chipset. Actually, it is the main part of our computer system, that is also called your backbone of the computer. Backbone of the computer system. In this overview, you can see different parts of our motherboard. Here in the topmost position, you can see the power supply part. Then here is your CPU, center processing unit. On the back side, you can also see that extra fan case, and in the front there is fan. We also use different types of card here, some modem, sound card, and all are connected with this ribbon that is called your bus, system bus. Here is also hard drive. Some power cords are also here. Some structure for your DVD, CD-ROM, motherboard. Nowadays, the motherboard is compacted. So there are different components in the motherboard also. This is a detailed overview of the motherboard. In this motherboard, you can see different ports, different sockets, different slots, semiconductors, connectors, registers. So this is a detailed overview of the motherboard. From here you can see this is a DDR memory slot RAM where RAM is fixed. Here you can see that 3 RAM can be inserted in this slot. One black like structure, that is your CMOS battery slot. On the right hand side there are different ports. Some ports are for different peripheral devices such as your keyboard, mouse. One is for LAN. One port is for audio purpose. Here is your CPU slot. So these are different components of a motherboard. So the CPU, that is your brain of the computer system. The CPU is our central processing unit that contains the processing power of the computers. The complete processing power that is done with the help of our CPU. Nowadays, all the CPU are microprocessors. So a microprocessor, it is a complete computer on a silicon chip. So all the instructions for storing purpose, input processing and output, all the functions are done with the help of this microprocessor. And memory. Memory is a part of computer that is temporarily stores applications, documents, and system operations. In, Initially, when we store the data, that will be stored in the secondary storage. If there is a processing in the data, the processing is done in the main memory of the computer system. A process is always executed in the main memory. It cannot be executed in the secondary storage. So memory is very important. Initially, the program that is stored in the secondary storage. Initially, even the operating system is stored in the secondary storage, that is the hard disk. After the post process, the computer's operating system that is loaded in the primary memory. So computer memory plays very important role. But you can run your computer system without a hard drive because you can boot your computer from a USB flash drive. You can also use a CD-ROM and SD card. It is possible for a computer to run using only the RAM, but it would not be the practical setup. Why? Because RAM is a volatile memory. If the computer is powered off, the data stored in the RAM is lost. But you can run a computer system without hard disk. That is called your diskless node. That computer is called your diskless workstation because you don't have any disk drives. But it is possible to run a system without your hard drive. A hard drive is the secondary storage of your computer system that stores all your data, including your documents, your photos, videos, apps, even your operating system. When you use your computer, the information is passed from your hard drive to your computer, your RAM. Then the CPU access this information from the RAM. After the CPU has processed the data, after the processing part, when the CPU has processed the data, the results are again saved in the hard drive again. So most computers have a hard drive. So when you power on your computer, the OS operating system on the hard drive will be loaded to run. If the hard drive is failed, the computer doesn't have hard drive installed, so it cannot boot up smoothly. But you can boot into BIOS without a hard drive. So you can boot your computer from a USB drive with the help of a CD-ROM, with the help of any card, any SD card. You just create your bootable USB drive, a CD-ROM or SD card, and insert your bootable USB drive in the computer and power on the computer and press BIOS key. When the PC logo appears, then you can enter the BIOS. After you enter the BIOS, you can go your boot tab and you can start your system. So is it clear? Without hard disk, you can run your computer system. But computer memory is very important because everything is initially stored in the secondary storage in the hard disk. When it is required for processing, the CPU access the RAM. We also have some input output ports. These ports are used to connect. A connector is located on the motherboard. So on the back side of the computer systems, you can see the several input output ports. Normally you use mouse and keyboard connections with the help of this port. USB US Universal Serial Bus port. So we can say this is input output port. You can see on the back side of your computer system different types of port. On the above first one, this port is called your PS2 keyboard port. It is your mouse port. Then next in the yellow color, you can see that coaxial output port. Here is your optical media port. It is your parallel port. This port is called parallel port that is connected with the monitor. These are our USB ports and one is LAN port. You have 4 USB port and one is LAN port. We have also speaker ports in the back of our system, a microphone port. So you can see different types of ports which are used to connect with these peripheral devices. So there are these different types of input-output ports to connect to input-output devices. So input devices are your mouse, your joysticks, your scanner, light pen. These are your input devices. Keyboard, all are these input devices. And output devices are your monitor, your LCD, printer, plotter. These are speaker. These are your output devices. The first input device, that is our keyboard. This is our keyboard. It is used to type data into the computer system to give input to the computer system. So it is most common input device. In the computer keyboard, there are different types of keys. With the help of these special keys, you can give the commands to tell the computer system to do something. And you have some function keys also in the computer system. In this diagram, you can see that on the left corner, you can see escape key. In a keyboard, there are 12 function keys, F1 to F12. And here, this is the main typing keypad. We have some directional keys in the middle, and on the right hand side, you can see different numerical and directional keypad. So these are different types of keys. First keys are your typing keys. These keys holds your alphabetic characters, letters, special characters, numbers for typing. We use this for typings. We also have numeric keypad. It can be used for numerical values, pressing the number key. Thus numeric keypad is active. Then you can insert the numbers. If it is on numeric mode and you can enter numbers. If it is off, if the numeric keypad is off, numlock, that is called your numlock, then it is on directional mode and only used for moving a cursor on the screen. If numlock is on, you can insert numbers. If it is off, then it is used for your directional purpose. Now it is in directional mode. Then we have function keys, 12 function keys, F1 to F12. These are used for a special purpose. We also have some control keys, to group of keys that's arranged for top to bottom. So the top keys holds your insert, home, page up and down, and delete and end keys in the middle part. These are called your top keys. Then insert keys switches between insert and over type modes. That we also have home key that is used to bring back to the beginning of the page. And page up and page down keys help us to move on the page on the screen of the screen up or down. And delete key that is used to erase the text or page. And end key takes you to at the end of the page. And these are our top keys. Then bottom keys are, these are our independent directional keys. You can also see the arrows in these keys, which are used to move the cursor either in left direction, right direction, up and down direction. So status lights, escape key, print screen. These are our bottom keys. You can also see on the right corner of the keyboard, that is our status lights. These lights indicate whether numlock is on or off, caps lock is on or off, and scroll light lock light is on or off. You have three types of lights, status lights in the keyboard. And we also have some shortcut keys which are very useful for you. That are the combination keys that are used to make our work more convenient when mouse is not working. These keys are, you can use these key in your word. These are control plus A. Control plus A. If you press control and A together, then it is select all the contents of the page. If you press control plus B, then it will bold the highlighted section. For copying the selected text, you press control plus C. If you want to copy, or for alignment, to align the text to the center of the screen, you press control plus C. If you find something, then you press control plus F. For italic, you want italic mode in italic character, then you press control plus I. For justify, if you want to justify your text alignment, then you press Ctrl plus J, J for justify, align the selected text or line to justify on the screen. If you want insert and link, then you press Ctrl plus A. Ctrl plus K is used for insert link. For left alignment, Ctrl plus L. Align the line or selected text to the left of the screen. Then Ctrl plus L is used. For paragraph indenting, you use Ctrl plus M. If you want to print something, you just press Ctrl P. Then that page is printed. You can see the print overview. If you want to reset your highlighted text to the default font, just plus Ctrl plus space bar. For single line space, Ctrl plus 1. Double space line, if you want double space lines, Ctrl plus 2. If you want 1.5 line spacing, then Ctrl plus 5. These are also these shortcut keys. These are also you can see in your menu of the word, but these are the shortcuts. If your mouse is not working, then you can use these shortcut keys. If you want to change text to heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, then Control Alt plus 1, 2, 3. You want to open new document, Alt plus Control plus F2. There is one more shortcut for it. Just press Control plus N. It will go to a new document. If you want to open task pane, Control plus F1. Display print preview, Control plus F2. Want to increase highlighted text, just Control Shift and this sign, greater than sign. Want to increase the font, control plus right bracket. These are different shortcut keys you can use in your documents. These are also different keys. Control R, align the line on the right side. You can use this. Control T for hanging indent. If you want to underline the highlighted text, then you can use Control U. For paste, Control V. You use Control V, Control X, Control C, Control Z. Most frequently used these commands. Control X, just cut that selected text. Control Y, redo. Control Z, undo the last actions. If you want to change the font, you can press Control plus Shift plus F. So you can use these different shortcut keys in your computer systems. So the goal of these shortcut is to make more convenient your work. Actually, the goal of the computer is ease to use. How easily you can use the computer system. And next is how the keyboard is connected to the computer. So computer keyboard is connected with the help of cables or wirelessly signal. On the back side of the your CPU, you have seen the PS2 port, which are used to connect with the keyboards. But nowadays, you also use wireless keyboards that are connected with the help of signals. So nowadays, the new computer system don't have PS2 connectors. These keyboards are just connected with the help of our normal USB port or wirelessly. We are connecting the computer systems wirelessly. Then mouse, for connecting with the mouse, we have also port. Nowadays, these mouse are also connected with the USB port, and we can also connect with wirelessly. You can see these three components in the mouse. On the left hand side first, that is your primary button. On the right hand side, you can see the secondary button, and second one, that is your scroll wheel. So there are three components in the mouse. One is primary button, another one is secondary button, and in the middle you can see the scroll wheel. So primary button is for left click, secondary button is for your right click, and scroll wheel, that is in the middle, that is for moving page up and down direction. And what are the mouse actions? What is the role of mouse? The mouse is used for pointing. If you want to point to the object, that is, then mouse is used. For left click, used to select an item. Double click, that is used to start a program or open a file, then you use double click. Right click, that is usually used to display a set of commands, and it is also used for drag and drop. So it allows you to select and move an item from one location to another location. You just select the item from one location and drag that item to the another location. So for this, place the cursor over an item on the screen and click the left mouse button, and while holding the button, move the cursor to where you want to place the item, then release it. So drag and drop is also done with the help of mouse. How this mouse is connected? This is also connected with the USB and wirelessly. The next is memory. As I discussed earlier also, memory is one of the important part of the computer system. So computers are classified into two categories: primary and secondary memory. Primary memory is your RAM and ROM. Without primary memory, it is not possible to run the system. And secondary memory is your hard disk, your pen drive, your magnetic tapes, your CD, your floppy disk, your DVD. This is your secondary memory. So primary memory is often called your main memory of the computer system, that constitutes the device or group devices that holds your instructions, that is directly accessed by the CPU. CPU access the instructions from the primary memory. This is your RAM. This is made up of your semiconductor circuitry. It is volatile form of information. Volatile means once the system is switched off, then all the data will be erased. So that is wrong. RAM. So these memory units also includes your cache memory, ROM part, read-only memory, PROM, EPROM. Secondary is your auxiliary memory. Second is storage. Hard disk. But it is very important to storing for storing purpose. Because we cannot store the data in the primary memory. So secondary storage is very important. CPU access only the primary memory RAM part. These are our hard drives, your floppy disk, magnetic tapes, optical disk. These are used for your secondary purpose, secondary storage purpose. These are non-volatile. So what we store in this, that will be remain in the system in this device once after we switch off the system also. So like primary memory, many secondary memory devices are also capable of storing information and retrieving it. When also some flash drives, CD-ROMs, compact disk read-only memory for storing purpose. Here you can see the internal and external view of our hard disk. This is our external view. If you see a hard disk from outside, this is the external view. Inside that hard disk, you can see this structure. Here there is a platter, CD-like structure that is fixed on the spindle, and there is one read-write head that reads the information, either reading or writing. We have one actuator arm that is fixed with this actuator. If you want to read or write in the memory, then this task is done with the help of this read-write head. This head moves in both the direction. for reading the information from this hard disk, or if you want to write something in the hard disk, then this head is also used. And here we have different connectors which are used to connect with the system. One power connector, the jumper block ID connector. So this is the largest data storage devices in the computer. Initially the operating system, any applications, everything is stored in the hard disk. So these type of questions can be asked in the lab. Let's find the shortcut keys of the following. If you want help to repeat action for untrue document, bold, and what is the use of function keys, F1, F2, F3. Okay, and here, this is one question also. Type the following passages on the MS Word. In the question you can use. The next is our operating system. And what is operating system? Operating system, it is an interface between user and machine, because a user cannot directly connect with the machine. So there is a requirement of an interpreter that will connect with the hardware, with the machine. That connection, that interface that connects a user and a machine, that is our operating system. The main operating system we use nowadays, that are Windows and Linux. So these are the operating systems. Okay, then how will you install this? This is also in your lab. Demonstration lab practices. Overview of your both the operating systems, Windows and Linux. Okay, this is also in your lab part. So after understanding the von Neumann architecture, different types of memories and hard disk part, different types of input devices. Okay, then we will understand how this operating system is installed in the system, how this Windows is installed in the secondary storage in the machine, because initially everything is stored in the machine. So according to your syllabus, this is XP. XP is an operating system that is produced by Microsoft for use on your personal home, business desktop, laptops, media centers. So it was first released to the computer manufacturer on August 24, 2001, and it is the most popular version of our Windows operating system. And that name XP is for experience. So it is a successor of your Windows 2000 and Windows Me. There are some requirements for this operating systems. These are the key requirements for installation. But the important part is our installation procedure, which is used for all types of Windows operating systems, any type of operating system. This procedure will tell you that how to install this operating system. So before installing the system, any of the operating system, it is recommended that the compatibility test which you are installing in the system, that system is compatible or not. If your hardware is not on the compatibility list, then you can check your hardware manufacturer website to download the drivers for that OS, that operating system. So save all these necessary drivers onto a floppy disk into your USB or CD. So these are the steps. At first, let's start your system and place your Windows CD in your CD-ROM. Then your PC that will automatically detect your CD, and you will get a message that press any key to boot from the CD. When you press the key, the computer starts booting from the CD, and you can see on the screen that in the next stage it will ask you to press F6. Then if you press the F6, then just press S to specify that you want to install any additional device in your system. Then you will be asked to insert a floppy disk with drivers. After that, just press enter. You can see this type of screen. So you will see a list of drivers. So you have to select the correct driver for your device. Then you can see a professional setup on the screen. Then you have to option to do a new Windows install, or you want to repair your previous install, or you want to quit. So according to your choice, select the required option and press continue. Then you will be presented with the end user licensing agreement, and just press F8 and accept and continue. Then you will create the partition where you want to install the system. If you have a new unformatted drive, then you will get a screen in which there is single drive size. So you will partition that drive according to your requirement, or you can also select the entire size of the drive. After partitioning, select a hard drive where you want to install. And after selecting that drive, that drive is NTFS format. Now the Windows started to install. Then you can see that in the percentage, the Windows is starting, loading is starting. After the setup is completed, the computer will restart. Now you can see this type of window in your system. Then you have to do some settings. Just select your region and language, type your name, organization, enter the product key of the operating system and just write down the name and password, correct the date, time, your time zone. These are some basic settings. Then this is installed in your system. Then you can use your operating system. At the end, you can see that this type of structure now. This is how the XP is installed. Okay, how the Windows is installed in your computer, in your machine. That is according to your syllabus. This is your first unit. Okay, so today we have discussed all these things from starting to the installation procedure. In the next class, we will learn about Linux and latest Windows. Okay, class?